Hello everybody, happy Sunday afternoon. Hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you're at in the world. It's a very sunny, nice day here. I think we're getting in the 40s today, so our snow is starting to melt off, which makes me happy. I don't like the snow to hang around. I don't mind the snow, just don't want it to hang around. I want the kids to have fun in it, be able to go sledding, make snowmans, have snowball fights, make forts, all that stuff, but I'll be ready for it to be gone when it's all melted. So it is starting to melt, which is very nice. The roads are cleared off, so it's a beautiful day out there, even though it's a little chilly, a little too cold for me, but I do not like cold. So I'm staying inside with you guys. So thank you for coming to paint with me today, you guys. I hope some of you are going to pick up a paintbrush. I hope some of you have headed over to lonnalamb.com to get your packet for this design, Bird on a Cup. And there is a surface available for this as well that was made specifically for this design. So I think it'll be a fun one today. I don't think it'll take a lot of time, but I think you're going to learn some things and we're going to just do a playful little chickadee. We're not doing anything realistic here. Just playful stuff. So we're going to wait for a few more people to come in. Hi Claudette, hi Jan. I'm glad that you're here with me today. I had a couple of people that messaged me and said that they would not be here today. They had some family stuff going on, so I know there'll be a few missing, but those of you that are here, I appreciate you very much. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I go live or post a new video. So I've got one coming up in a couple of weeks. While we're waiting on everybody, I wanted to show this little guy to you. I painted him up the other day. This penguin looks like he's under the water partway on top. I love this little guy. I'm thinking about doing a paid Zoom class for him, but I haven't decided. So if you've got any comments towards this or not, let me know. He was fun. I've already painted another one for a commission piece, so he was a lot of fun to paint. I really enjoyed painting him a lot. Hi Joanne, thank you for being here. Did you get much snow up in New Jersey? I don't know, how where everybody's at. So we got New Brunswick, Canada. So did you get much snow in your neck of the woods, I guess? We got about, I would say, pretty close to 10 inches on our house. I mean, other parts of town could have gotten more, and a little bit farther south of us, probably a little less, but we got quite a bit. Hello, Gwen from Texas. How about you? Did you get much ice or anything there? I have family that live near Austin, Texas, and a friend that lives near Austin, Texas. So I just wondered how it was, how everybody was doing. It is beautiful, beautiful here. No snow here in New Jersey in the part that you live in. Well, that's good. So it avoided you. Are you still expecting some? I don't know. I haven't been watching the weather too much. I'm just, I don't watch too much news. I try to watch it in the evening, but I'm not the best at staying connected with the news and what's going on in the world. In Connecticut, you got 12 inches of snow and then ice. Ugh, that's rough. That is rough. You got lots here. Cold now, almost 2 feet. Whoa. Okay. I thought our little 10 or 12 inches was a lot, but 2 feet. No. That's a little too much for me. This is the first year we didn't have to go out and sweep off our deck and shovel a path in the yard for the dogs to go to, because the last dog that we had, our little Tessa, she passed away last January. So my husband and I were both like, we don't have to go and clean the deck this year, and make them a path to get down into the yard. So just north of Houston, you got a little ice and lots of cold. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad that, of course, you know, in Texas, you probably warm up a little bit faster, so you probably got rid of it a little bit quicker than we're going to get rid of ours. But I'll be glad when it's gone. I'm ready for spring, like to start today. I don't know about you guys, but winter is my least favorite season. I hate it. I don't like the cold. I don't like the dampness. It's just not for me. I loved it as a kid. My husband and I remember as a kid that it was cold, and it seemed like the whole winter season there was snow on the ground all the time, and it was just cold, and the snow would last forever, it seemed like. Of course, memories of things you did as a kid are probably aren't exact. As you grow older, you remember things probably, maybe they weren't quite that way, but okay. And you've got more coming on Tuesday, Claudette. Ooh, hey. Okay, well, I hope you've got all the supplies you need, and hopefully it won't hang around for a while. So, all right. Well, we're going to get started on this design today. It's Bird on a Cup. I did this design a few years ago, but I never did a video for it or taught a lesson on it or anything. It was just a fun little project I did, and did some, I did a bunch of them up for table favors for an event once. So I've never painted it up for anyone. So you guys are going to be the first to see it painted. And I'm going to put myself a little up in the corner. Nope, that's not me. Okay. Let me grab the right one and put it up there. There we go. Now I'm up in the corner. All right, so you can see our little chickadee picture below me that we're going to be painting. I won't be painting it blue. I'm going to paint a pink one today, I think. You know, it's kind of getting towards Valentine, so I thought I'd paint a pink one. Here's all the ones that I've painted. I've painted many more than these. I did some with a little bluebird on them, but like I said, I gave all those away. So I'll bring these over here so you can see these little birds on a cup. This is a surface from my website that was created from this design that I drew. I was just going to paint it on a surface, and then I thought, well, I'm going to see if my husband can cut that out and make a special surface for it. And it comes with this little block of wood so that you can make it where it will stand up, and I'll show you how to attach that to one at the end of the painting here. But this was the very first one that I did when I decided to create this design. And I don't really like, I made all of just too many. It's just too many. Too much of that puffy stuff in there, you know. And I put little glitter dots at each corner. It was just too busy for me. I liked the cup idea with the bird on it, but I didn't like this. So I kind of went back to the drawing board with that part, and then made it much bigger on here. And I think that worked out so much better. So you can see you can paint it in several different colors. I've got blue and orange, and this one is a pink one. I know it looks kind of red, but it's actually like almost close to a not quite a burgundy. It's more dark pink. And then my yellow one here, and this is a pink one. This is the color I'm actually going to paint today, and you can use any colors that you want. If you grab the packet, you can use the colors that are in the packet. And then here is a red one and a purple one here. This is the one I'm going to show you how to glue that piece on the back, because it has to go on a specific way. So I'll set that one over there so we can paint it later. But see all the different colors that you can paint this in, and it is so fun. I mean, you can paint it on a surface. I'm going to be actually painting it on a surface today because I didn't have any spare surfaces that were not already listed on my website. I wanted to keep those up there for you guys to buy, and I already had so many of these that were painted up, so I decided to paint it on a surface today to show you that you can grab the packet, and if you don't want to get the surface, that you can paint it on just a board, you know, anything, a canvas panel, a canvas, whatever you want to paint it on. So that's what I'm going to be doing with them today. Here is the packet that you can get on my website. It has complete written instructions, step-by-step photos. It's not a huge project. It has the line drawing and a big picture like this of the bird on the cup. And this is what the line drawing looks like inside the packet. So if you do use the line drawing inside the packet, these negative spaces here that are on the wood piece right here, now this is a copyright wood piece because it was created from my design work. It wasn't just a random piece of wood that I, you know, picked up and painted on. This is actually from my line drawing. But this area right through here and down here, those are negative spaces. You see I painted them in black. All these are negative spaces, so you don't have to, if you're using just the line drawing on something, you don't have to draw those. You just need the cup shape and the bird shape is all you need. So just so you know, and that's what the line drawing comes like in my packet on my website, lonnalamb.com, and that's what I used to be called, Lonna's Art Design. So if you type that in, you can get to my website as well. That's a whole long story of why my business is no longer the name that it is. So I'm going to be painting on a wood surface today, okay? This is an 8x8, just a piece of wood, just an 8x8 piece of wood. I painted it white. I did apply, on wood, you really need to apply multi-purpose sealer first. This keeps the paint from soaking into the wood and makes the paint stick to the wood. So it has a dual purpose. That's why it's called multi-purpose. So it's an important step when you're painting. I use it on everything that I paint on, whether I'm painting on wood, glass, metal. It doesn't matter. I always use multi-purpose sealer. This is the one that I found that I like the best. You can use like some matte decoupage medium of some kind to do it as well, but this is a little bit thinner and it goes on much nicer, I think. So I highly recommend that you never ever forget that step of adding that multi-purpose sealer. And then I just applied a couple of coats of white paint. Now, for my background on this, I didn't want all that white area on there. So I just took some green color and thinned it down with water and did some really thin layers of leaves on here. A thin one in the background and a little bit heavier on top. And if it gets too thick, too dark on top, you can take some media white gesso. I thinned it down with a little bit of water to make it really kind of transparent, and just put a light layer on the background so that those leaves would really push back. And once you paint your bird and cup on here, that will really push back there, and this will stay forward. So that's one way to get everything to look like it's more behind stuff. You know, use that gesso and put a thin coat on there, and you are good to go. Yes, the bluebird. I did a bluebird on some of mine that I donated, but it is from a packet that I have on my website. It's titled "Welcome to Our Nest," but the bird that I painted on that design is the bird that I used on some of my surfaces here for the donation that I gave away for table favors one year. So you could use that bird from that packet, or use any bird pattern, you know, painting directions that you have, or if you have a photograph of a bird. It does not have to be a chickadee on a cup, but that's what I chose to put on here. And this is a fun, playful chickadee. He is not realistic in any way. This whole thing is fun and playful. So you'll need white or gray graphite, depending on what you end up painting your cup color. And a ruler is one of these see-through plastic rulers is the best to use. So you want that. A stylus or a white chalk pencil when you add your lines on. Okay? And then the brushes that I have listed in the packet, which I don't know if I'll be using those exact brushes today. You never know how I never know what brush I'm going to feel like picking up as I paint. Okay, so this has very limited colors, very limited. So like I said, you can paint your cup any color that you want. You just need a light color and a medium value of that color. So my two pinks that I'm going to use today is Poodle Skirt Pink and Carousel in my DecoArt Americana paints. Okay? And then white and black and some kind of gold color. That's all you need. I do list in the instructions that I used gray sky. When you paint your surface, if you're buying this surface and painting it, so it's such a dark piece of wood, so you want to first apply your multi-purpose sealer, and then I applied a couple of coats of gray sky. You don't have to have gray sky, because really all you have to do is mix a light gray with your black and your white. Why pull out another color when you've got black and white right there? You're going to be using it. Just mix a light gray and cover your surface with that color. It's the color we need under the bird anyway to start with, and then it makes a good neutral tone to go under any color of paint. So remember that I put light gray under a lot of my colors. Okay, so we're just going to start painting on here with our pinks, actually our light pink. So we're going to put some of that out, and I'm going to put some white out, and some black, because I'm going to make a light gray. I do have gray sky sitting right here on my table, but I'm going to show you how you can just make a light black or a light gray, and it's super easy. All right, let me wake up a brush here. And I appreciate all of you being here today. Now next Sunday I won't have a live. I don't know if I'm going to pop in a premiere video for next week or not. I haven't decided. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so even though our Chiefs team did not make the Super Bowl, we still like to watch it, and my husband and I pick opposite teams, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun watching it. All right, I'm going to start with my light pink here, and I'm going to see if it's going to be light enough. I think that'll be light enough with that white under it. Now if I had gray under here, I might want to mix a little bit of white in here with this, and we're just going to paint in the whole cup area. Let me get my palette spritzed with some water so I have some clean water to use to make my paint flow nicely. I have my little heater, my little space heater on behind me, which is kind of blowing warm air right at me, so my paint might dry a little quicker than what I want it to dry. So I want to keep it a little moist so I can blend it. So I like to add a little water to my coats and get them nice and smooth. I don't like thick paint. I don't like ridges and bumps and lumps in my base coats. The beauty of your painting starts with your base coat, okay? So just remember that. If your base coat is looking all choppy and thick and not pretty, especially if it's not smooth, then the foundation is off and the whole painting will be jeopardized because of it. Okay, I'm going to grab my small round to paint the handle in. Now everything's going to need 2 coats. So I'm just going to grab a small round and finish that handle out. Now if you're painting on one of the surfaces, you'll just want to paint the negative spaces in with black. And you can do any design on your cup that you want to do. It doesn't have to be just like mine. I'm getting my handle all fat up there. I have to thicken it out down here a little bit. I think I need to make make that a little thicker because I ended up making my upper part thicker. So there we go. I'll do that. So just adjust. Just adjust. So those negative spaces, if you have the surface, are here and here in the handle area and down here. Now on some of mine, let me see if I can find one that has it. I did a little bit of negative space right there next to the handle and the cup, but then when I came back and just painted it, it looked fine without adding that negative space there. So don't feel like you have to add that little negative space in there right next to the handle if you're painting the surface. All right, so our little chickadee, let's paint him in with a light gray. So we're going to mix white and black to a light gray color. This would be the color of gray sky or close to the color of gray sky if you don't want to mix and you just want to grab a bottle of paint. I had a little bit too much water in my brush there. And like I said, everything will need 2 coats. And this would be cute if you wanted to decoupage paper onto a surface and then paint this little guy. That would be super cute. I love decoupaging on my projects because then you have an instant background already made up that you can put your pattern on and paint away. Now when you're decoupaging, you really have to make sure that you use a matte decoupage medium, because if you use anything that has any kind of sheen to it, your paint can resist that paper and not stick to it. Okay, there's our first coat on our little bird. All right. And I've got my super chat up on my YouTube channel. I had some issues with getting that up there, but YouTube got it fixed, so it's up there. So that is for anyone that would like to support my channel and keep me going with doing all these lives and these videos for you guys. I would certainly appreciate that. But I just wanted to let you know that was there. This pink is turning out a little bit darker as it dries than what I may like. So we'll have to see. My shading color is going to be pretty dark. So I think it will take care of it not looking so bright. Plus we have our white, which is our highlight. So I think in the end it will look all right. I do not know what colors I painted my other ones. So, you know, I just was painting them up and to get some donated and for display purposes. And I did not write down what colors I used. I generally try to grab a light and a medium for whatever cup color I'm using. And then, you know, just black and white for the bird, and some kind of golden color to make sure my bird is dry. Let me get my heat gun, make sure that bird is dry. Get a quick second layer on him. Now your second layer never really has to be as thick as your first layer. Of course I don't make any of my layers thick, but we're just really filling in. You see how kind of blotchy and stuff that is? Well, the second layer is just filling that stuff in, so you don't have to make it a heavy layer. I thin my layers down with water anyway, but the second layer I usually thin down even a little bit more because I know I just need a little bit of color going into that base coat. just need to fill in the gaps of where the first layer did not quite give me a good coverage. So that is a good tip to remember. I'm going to dry this real quick because we're going to start adding those lines on our cup. And I want to make sure it's good and dry. And I really like the idea of creating this cup as not a traditional cup. I liked making it where it was more playful, like the bird is a little more playful. Okay, so if you have your line drawing, you can lay it right on here and put your gray graphite or white. I don't think white will show up on this pink, so we'd have to go with gray graphite under here and transfer your lines on. I would then, after you transfer them on with the gray graphite, grab an eraser and erase them back so they are just ever so light, where you can just barely see them. You don't want them to be dark because they'll be set in the paint. We're not going to be really painting over all of that line. So if you do use graphite, then make sure that you erase it back really well, and make sure your paint is dry before you put that graphite on there. Because if it's not completely dry, once you apply pressure to that graphite and put that line on there, that graphite is immediately set into your paint. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you are not going to be able to erase that paint. So I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to see if this one will show up. I don't know, it might be too close to the same color as I'm painting here. Yeah, let's see if my white one will show up. Not a lot, but we're going to go with the white one. Alright, so I want 1/2 inch pillow things on here. So I'm just going to start from this corner and go down to like where the handle, the meaty part of the handle is. So I'm just going to draw a line straight across there. Okay, you can't see that. Let me see if I zoom in if you can see it. You can just barely see it right there. I am going to, and I can barely see it. Let me try my pink one again. I don't think the pink's going to show up because it's too close to the same color as the cup itself. So I want to go 1/2 inch above that one and draw another line. Yeah, you can see that one a little bit. I can probably see it less than you can see it. So I want to put my ruler on that line and draw another one. I want to make sure these are 1/2 inch because anything bigger, smaller than 1/2 inch is not going to look right. Okay, I'm going to flip it over and go this direction. 1/2 inch. I might try and go back to my white one here. Now I want to put my bottom of my cup in here. I can still kind of see my line that I drew there. I don't need to go past that part of it. Alright, another 1/2 inch here. Okay, so we've got our first lines in there. Alright, we want to start at this side. And let me take a look at mine and see where I started. I started on that corner and went down to right about where the end of the bowl of the cup is. If that makes sense. So right there, from that corner down to where the bowl ends, we're going to put a line. And then I'm going to do 1/2 inch across, and 1/2 inch from that one. You can use a regular pencil as well to draw these in, but be sure and erase them back. finish on this side. 1/2 inch. All the way across. That should be our last one there. So we should have a nice plaid. I'm going to go over these pink ones here with some white so I can see them better. I cannot see them very well at all. And that white is not going to cover that pink. So I'm going to have to go with the pink. I know on the camera shot you can see the pink ones better than you can see the white ones. There we go. That is what it should look like when you're done. Okay? I'm going to draw make sure I know where my cup ends. Okay? Alright, so that's how you can put your lines on there. Either way, trace them on there, draw them on there, whatever works best for you. Okay? Okay, we're going to grab our darker pink, which I got a carousel pink. Alright, any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I'll put some of that out. And I'm going to grab, now I think in my original one I had like a 3/8 inch angle brush. Let me see if I even have one in this. I grabbed my old brushes. I was using them on something yesterday, so I don't see a 3/8 inch angle in here, just a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go with my my chisel brush here. This is a 6, oh sorry, not on camera, a 6 chisel. A chisel is just shorter bristles than a flat brush, okay, which I think makes it nice for floating, especially in small areas. So I'm going to side load just a little bit on here. Some moisture in my brush. Start on whichever one you want. We're going to be doing we're going to be doing a V at the bottom. We're going to do the left and right bottom sections of each little puffy place. So I'm going to do here. And we'll do all these across this way. I'm going to jump over the line every time. And we're going to put a little bit of floating color in there. All of our sections. We'll do all of these sides first. And you could definitely go to a little bit larger brush. I want to bring this up into the little pillow area a little bit farther. I don't want a small little line there. I want it to come up in the pillow just a little bit. You can take this little quilted design and put it on just about anything. It's a fun little design to do. It would look so cute on different things, I think. So don't limit yourself. I mean, if you see something that a teacher likes, but you're thinking, oh, that would look cute on that other thing I was painting, then definitely try it on there and see how you like it. Now, a good tip, if you want to try something on your painting and you're not sure that you will like it, I would apply a good coat of matte or flat varnish first, and then paint on what you want to try. And if you don't like it, then you can just remove it with a wet paper towel. I usually use a baby wipe and just gently wipe it off. And then you can continue painting on it. Your painting all underneath is sealed, so you don't have to worry about it. It should come right off of there. Alright, we're just going to Continue with all of our little pillow areas. Got a little piece of one there. This one here. And I'm going to use a bigger paintbrush, but we'll want to go underneath our bowl of our cup, but I can go ahead and do the handle. Looks much darker on my camera than on my monitor than it does in front of me, so I hope it's looking pretty decent for you guys. And you know, we're still in the ugly stage. Ugly stages are so hard to get past sometimes, but we are still in them. So I'm going to quickly put some dark color underneath my bowl so we can have all of our first shadings going one direction done already. So I'm just going to put this underneath. Alright, so now we should be pretty dry with all those that we have on there already. So we're going to go do the other part of the V. I want to not go over that line. Right there, I went over that line. We kind of want that line because that's where our stitching is going to go. So we want to keep that line a little bit open for our stitching. So I'm going up to it, but I'm trying not to go on it. I mean, obviously right there I went on it big time, but what's done is done. I am not going to worry about it. So I'm trying not to paint over those lines. I'm going right next to all those lines I put in there, not painting over them. Getting a little bit more of a quilted look now, puffed up look there. I don't know what you call this. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but it's not in my brain. Alright. Little brushes don't hold a lot of paint, so you have to reload frequently with them. Okay, we're starting to really get that quilted look. Okay, I might do a little bit more on the handle here. Right here. Let's get that a little bit darker. A little bit wider as well. And then I'll do down here at the bottom another shading down here. Okay. All right, so now you can really see those little pillow areas. So we're going to start adding some white on here now. Now the white is notorious for fading in there. Now I just did both of those at the same time. I really don't want to do that because it's too easy to remove one. So we're going to do like we did the other ones and do just one side. And then we'll come back and do the other side. So if any of you are sewers out there, you probably know better than me what this should really be looking like, but I thought it looked fun. And since white is really bad about fading down in, especially when you're using a little bit lighter layers, it'll have to be repeated. Our dark color, not so much, unless you just have it so thin down that you just cannot see your dark color. You may have to repeat it, but you really shouldn't have to if you got it on well. But the white, yeah, that one is, it's just a booger. You'd think it would be opaque since it's white, and I missed a piece of one there. Back to my darker color because I missed a little tiny piece here. Can barely see it, but it made that section look, it made it way, way, way too big. So now I can highlight this one. Okay, so you see our white's already, man, it's like soaked in there. So let's do our other side. Yep, little brushes, they don't hold enough. I go back frequently. I really want to have just straight paint here. I don't want to have thinned paint too much. I just want my brush damp so that my white will not thin down on my brush. It doesn't always work out that way when you're loading your brush. So, you know, you just got to go back over the painting a time or two to get the brightness that you want. So, what do y'all think? You think you're gonna paint this stuff on anything? I think it is just super cool, super fun. I'm really looking forward to painting the sunset ride with you guys on January 20th. I may be moving my time back to 1 p.m. Central for my lives. So tell me what you think of that time. Okay, so there's our first little layer on there. Looking super cute. Let's do the handle. We'll highlight on the handle. And then down here at the base, we'll do a little highlight. Man, that paint does not want to release out of my brush there. Generally, when the paint doesn't want to release out of your brush, it means you do not have enough moisture in your brush. And it's such a small brush that moisture, when I'm painting with it, that moisture just goes out of there so quickly. Alright, let's put a second little layer of white. Now you don't have to do all of them. If you just see some that need an extra layer, then go for that. If you just want to create a bold highlight somewhere, you could do that. Just, you know, put your highlight a little bit brighter on just a few of them, and that's going to be more of the spot where the light is hitting it the most. Okay, I think that looks much better. Okay, and like I said, you can do that as many times as you feel like it needs it. So we're going to add some little stitching lines on here now. And when I did them, I tried to do 3 in each section. Not where it intersects, but just where each little triangle section is. So on each side of each triangle, I tried to do 3 little stitch lines. So we'll shoot for that. So I'm going to have to thin some of my paint with some water. Get it some inky consistency. Clean water. If you don't have clean water in whatever basin you're using, then you want to go to the water that you spritzed over here and use that water to thin your paint. Now if you made smaller little diamonds, you'll obviously probably, oh, that's too connected, you obviously will want to do just 2 on the smaller ones, because 3 will not fit. That's a lot of paint. And don't thin your paint so much that when you paint it on here, it's like it's gone. It fades away because it's got too much water in it. It just needs to be thinned enough to flow off of the end of your brush. On that line that you drew is where you're placing these. Okay, then we'll go on the other side. The other way, I guess. That should be lining up, but it's not. So something I painted, I didn't paint quite straight. And we're just going to work our way all the way across. And of course your stitching can be much thinner than mine. White paint had a little gray in it. Oh, didn't like that one. Didn't like it. Okay, I think I got all my spaces on there. Hopefully. I'll put just a little bit of a brighter highlight on the handle. Maybe along the bottom. Whatever you feel like. Okay, we're going to do a little floating of a highlight On the top edge of the cup, I'm just going to go into my big flat brush here. You can grab an angle brush to do this. Of a shading on the cup. I'm going to mix my base color, that's a lot of water, and my shading color together. I need a little bit more of that shading color because it's more transparent. My base color is more opaque. And let's see. Yeah, I went all the way on each side. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we can leave the cup right there and be done with the cup part. So we're going to move up to our bird. So with our bird, I want to take my pencil. Now it doesn't really matter too much where the beak is because all this is going to be black in here, but your beak will come down like that. Then we've got this black area. It's going to come here, and a black area that's going to be here. And then of course the tail is going to be mostly black. So I'm going to paint some black in there. Start up here at the beak. And I'm just going to pull some of this down like this. We'll define the beak later. Right now we're just kind of blocking in some color where our darkest color is going to be. A little bit of water. Lose the shape of my head here. Chickadees have very specifically shaped heads. Alright, I'm going to put some black on the tail. I didn't put any feet or anything on this chickadee. On my original one I did, but then I didn't like it, so I decided he could be sitting on the back edge of the cup that we can't even see, so we wouldn't see his feet. Okay, there's our black areas. So I'm just going to grab, actually I'm going to wipe off my brush and get the majority of that black paint out, and then just grab some white and mix in there a little bit of that black. I want to get closer to a medium gray with my black and white mix. Now you can come in with a round brush and do this, but I am just laying some of this in quickly. Just getting the shape of everything right now. Not adding details, we're still just blocking in some color here. It's a little bit darker than the color we started with. And we're not covering up all of that color. So that's a key point right there. We're not covering up all of that. So, and bring it into the tail just a little bit. So then that tail won't have any like blunt ending areas. Alright, let me clean this brush out. It was really loaded with some paint here. Alright, you guys. Okay, let's go with some white. I think I'll just get some fresh white out so I don't accidentally get the gray when I don't want it. So I'm going to grab some white. start right here on the tip of this brush and just stroke in some white. Thin it down a little bit more. I'll pull one of my chickadees over so I can see how I painted it. This needs to come up here a little bit. Closer to the, if I get this too wide or anything, which that is pretty wide right there, I'll come back with my black, but this should just touch where the end of the beak will be. And stroke some of this in here. And put some down here. Into that black. I'm up on the very tippy toe of this brush, trying to keep my paint a nice flowy consistency. It's just a fun little chickadee. It's not real. We're not doing realism, not like I did on that penguin back there. Take a little bit of that gray, maybe thin it a little bit. I feel like my brush is loaded with paint, so I'm going to wipe it out and reload it. I want to bring a little bit of this into that white, maybe a little bit darker. Let's make a little bit darker gray here. There we go, much better. I'll thin that a little bit. And the wing is actually going to be coming right about here, I think. So I'll put some darker down here, and back here. Need a little bit more black through there. And then this gray, this darker gray, we'll go in here and create a few little separations for tail feathers, and they don't have to be a complete line. We're going to also, I think I'll add a tiny bit of black into that. I want to create where the beak is, which is right here. And then we're going to put the eye. It's right here. And a little dot. So the eye is very, very simple. I'm going to grab a little bit of white. Just lighten that a little bit. Now this part is optional. On some of my birds I did this. On some of them I didn't. I just stroked in a little bit on the head. And then I came back with my black and covered a lot of that up. But I wanted it a little bit in there, like underneath. So I'll come back with my black. Don't get it on your eye. You have to redo your eye. So we'll just see a little bit of this kind of peeking through. Again, this is optional because I did do it on some of mine, and some of mine I did not. I need to separate that beak here in a second. I'm going to fix this because I don't like that. A little line in there. Alright, so I want to take some really light gray. Some of that paint on my brush. And we're going to create the lines that come up here and go up and over. Okay, we'll come back and add some white on there, but we want to start with, I need more white in there. If it's not showing up on the color that you have underneath it, just add more white. So I'll restroke that one, and then come beside it. And I'm coming a little bit, so this one's, first one started up here. The next one started down here. This one's going to start right here. So they'll get a little bit shorter each time. And you can do as many of those as you want. I think I'll go back over them with just white. I want those to be much brighter than that. Got those fun things going there. And then we can stroke a little bit of white on the back here. And a little bit more white down here. You don't ever want to cover up all of your previous, whatever you did previously. You want to try and just enhance. Alright, I need to add some black little strokes in here and kind of blend this shape a little bit. So very lightly on the tip of the brush. I'm gonna shorten that black area. I don't like how long it is, so let's just bring our white into it. There we go. That looks more like a chickadee. Okay. Under our little wing things that we did, these lines here, I want to put a little bit of dark color right next to those lines. This one we're going to shade under, so it doesn't have to be too much. And then back here on this area, let's kind of smooth that. Just a little bit in there. Bit. Okay, so I think our white areas need to be a little bit brighter. That's what I mean, the white just really, and it just sucks down in there. Because on the chest and right here, those are the whitest areas that we want to have. Oh, look at that. I got gray all over my cup. Apparently I had that on my hand somewhere. Alright. Let me show you how to fix that. Grab my white eraser and dip it into some clean water. And you can just put some water on these little spots. Let the water set for a second. And you have to be very gentle when you're erasing. You don't want to go down through all of your layers. You just want to remove that little layer of gray. And to me, it was a ginormous layer of gray. So gentle, gentle, gentle. I don't even know where that gray came from. I feel like I got it everywhere. But this is a good learning lesson right here. I mean, unless I have my whole piece covered completely with a color that I didn't want, and oh, that's part of the green back there. And I didn't see it, and it cured, then I would be upset. But it hasn't cured yet, so it's very easily removed. I do need to put my little white stitch lines back in there because I removed those in my erasing. Easy to fix, okay? Don't ever stress out if you do something like that. It's easy to fix. Okay, I want to put a little gold in here in the chest area. Very light color. I'm going to mix a little bit of that gray in there to kind of tone it just a little bit. Not too much because it will turn your gold a weird color. I want this in here. Okay, that needs to dry a little bit. I want to darken up on the back with a little bit of darker gray. So I'm going to mix a little bit darker gray and put some of that in here. Definitely need to thin that. Chickadees are just black, white, and gray, but different values of gray. They are so really easy to paint. Even if you're painting more realism, they are just one of the easiest ones to paint. Okay, that's dry. Let's shade under there. I'm going to grab some of this gray mix. And I might have to go a little bit darker, but we want to shade underneath the wing here. I might not have to go darker than that. Alright, let's highlight with some white, because that white is really not popping out for me. A little bit on the chest here, and you can do a thin little highlight. Let me see. No, I didn't. I thought I put a thin highlight on the back, but I actually shaded back there. So before I do that, let me go back over these little lines here with some more white, make them bolder. Just a fun, playful take on a chickadee. Alright, let's do a little bit of shading. I'll get a little bit of black. I'll really thin it down with some water in my brush, and we'll go along the back of the chickadee right there. And I'm going to put some underneath the wing. We do need a little bit of darkness under here. And I'll bring some of my gold back in. I'm just going to do that with a round brush and brighten that gold area a little bit. Zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so now you can just shade underneath the cup. I'm going to use a little bit of gray, I think. See if I've got enough gray mixed up here to add a little shading. Probably not. And give a little shadow under here. Kind of give it a foundation. We don't want it floating in the air. And that's also where you can, you know, make sure your cup is straight on the bottom. You can put shadows back behind it as well. Can do some darkening around the edges of your surface if you're not planning to frame it, or even if you are framing it, a lot of that will still stand out on there. So I think that turned out super cute, and he was really fast to paint, you guys. I think took us about an hour to paint him. Now if you're doing the background, give yourself another 20 minutes to finish the background like I did. But yeah, he was a pretty fast project, and like I said, many colors. Now I want to show you how to glue the back onto these. This little piece that helps make it stand, you can't put it right against the bottom of this because then it will fall over forward. So you've got to come in. Let's see if I can get one that we can really see on here. You've got to come in about maybe 1/8 of an inch from the bottom edge in order for these to stand up. Okay, so what I did, I painted and varnished this, and I varnished the back. So I didn't paint one side of it, and I'm going to use hot glue, and I'm going to attach it here. So let me zoom in here. You can see what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to you can draw a line on your back if you want, if that will help you. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back of this. And then I'm going to set it on here about 1/8 of an inch from that edge. Can you see that on there? If you don't get it straight, then it will be set and crooked. So if you want to set this piece on here and draw a line on each side of it, and then you know exactly where to glue it, that is helpful. And then it just stands right up. Okay? It won't lean one way or the other. So a wide angle back out. Bring all my pretty little birds over here for you to see. And I'm going to show you the piece we're going to be doing in a couple of weeks to remind you of that piece, because it's a fun piece. So here's all my little, let me take my palette camera off. Chickadee, where are you? There you are. Okay, I'll take that off the screen so it's not in the way. And you can see all the fun little ones that I did here. And then this one that I painted on the surface today. So you can do these in any color, in any bird, any style. But I really like that these are so cute to just sit around, and if you're doing a tea party, these would be so fun for table favors for a tea party. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it a lot. So I'm going to bring a couple pieces in here and show you some things to remind you of a couple of my next lives that are coming up. So let me move these little birdies out of the way. So this one is Sunday the 20th. I love this. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm just on a wood panel here, an 8x10. See, I started the sky on that side, but I didn't like it. So I flipped it over and found a better way to paint it. I painted this in with a sponge, the background. So you'll want to have a sponge if you're going to paint along with me. I used a sponge and a round brush, and I don't know what else I used, but this was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, painting this a lot, because you just never know when you're painting a line somewhere. Is that going to be anything when it's done? Is that going to look right? But yeah. So February. We're in February now. February 20th. February 20th at 2 p.m. We're going to paint this guy up, okay? Yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to be a lot of fun. I loved finding something kind of masculine that I could do. And, you know, everybody loves Yellowstone, so, you know, that's what made me think of it, Yellowstone. And, yeah, it's, my monitor makes it look more yellow, but I can see on the YouTube feed that it does look a little bit more orangey, so yeah, it's fun. Fun. All right, and then this is my next live, my free class that I'm doing on Facebook, Creative Innovations in Painting Facebook group. This is going to be a free demo that I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do the bokeh effect and these cherries, which I'm doing a like wet on wet blend for the cherries using a different kind of paint, DecoArt Traditions acrylic paint. It is a more professional medium thickness paint. I love it. It's if I had started with those paints when I started, those would be the only paints that I would use right now. So this one is February 24th, 6 p.m. Central on the Creative Innovations Facebook group. I will be live there doing this painting right here, and there is a free line drawing on Creative Innovations. There is also a free line drawing on my website, lonnalamb.com, you know, if you want to grab that and paint along with me in my demo, or I will be posting the video onto my YouTube channel as well, so you can watch it there and paint along. It's fruit's one of my favorite things to paint, you guys. You guys know that. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions or comments for me before we leave? I appreciate those of you that hung in there with this one. I knew it wasn't going to be a really long project, but I hope that it was a fun one for you. I'm really trying to mix it up and not have things that are advanced all the time or intermediate all the time. There are some out there that are beginners, and I want to reach those as well. So yeah, so I'm trying to really mix up the things that I do with my lives. So I hope that you guys will support my YouTube channel by subscribing whenever you're in a live. If you hit that super chat and help support my channel that way as well. And please head over to my website and purchase the line drawing or packet for whatever design I'll be painting. That really helps me out so much, you guys, because this is what I live to do, and I like to be able to do it for you. So your support is what keeps me going. So if you guys don't have any questions, I am going to get on out of here, and hope you guys have a wonderful remainder of your day and a beautiful and a lovely and amazing week ahead of you, you guys. I appreciate you all. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.